Hi, this is Chuck Martin at the AI Summit London, and I'm happy to say I've got here near the end of day two, Jenna, who's put a lot of this together. Welcome.
Hi Chuck. How are you?
Good. So this has been a blow-away show by any measurement. Tell me your observations so far.
I'm just so thrilled. I mean, this is a show that we've been envisioning for a while now, of course, coming out of the pandemic, and how to bring the community together in a different way. I think we've managed to pull that off, and I've seen a lot of exciting faces, a lot of great discussions happening throughout the 2 days as well. I'm just thrilled to see it all come together.
So have you gotten a chance to see any of the exhibits? We had a hackathon here. We had the Into the Den competition. The Omdia booths have been absolutely packed. I mean, everything is just like it's just buzzing.
It absolutely is, and we have AI from all corners, right? I also liked the walk through the ages of AI, seeing the old calculators and computers there. It was amazing. That was a really nice feature. The expo as well was something that saw some great booths and demos. I think that I couldn't get into the demo area. It was so full. It was so packed. Everyone was really interested seeing AI actually applied. And that's something I think is incredible here.
So are you seeing, I mean, you're in the market a lot. Are you seeing a sort of a change in terms of collaboration?
I think so. I think when we talk about collaboration, it's a theme that we've talked about for a while with AI. We know technology and collaborating across the ecosystem is important and will drive overall development for AI faster and more efficient. But I think what's changing is that collaboration is starting to permeate various areas. So you think about ethics and regulation. We have the standards now from the EU, but we see a lot of vendors and the ecosystem coming together and saying, well, what does that really mean? Let's collaborate on how do we interpret this regulation and how do we respond to this as well as a community. So we start to see, we've seen workshops and fringe forums here where these discussions are taking place and that collaboration across the ecosystem on various issues happening, not just implementation of AI.
And are you seeing a growth in the ecosystem? We talked about the Canadian ecosystem today. We talked about the UK ecosystem, the US, the global ecosystem. Are you seeing a lot of things basically just kind of all of a sudden be glued together?
Absolutely. I think we're starting to see governments work together across AI. We're seeing bodies work together as well, not so standalone. It goes back to that collaboration issue. The ecosystem is really expanding here. Of course, we've talked about it from the technology perspective for years in terms of both hardware, software. What does that ecosystem look like? But the government's getting involved, the universities getting involved. We talked about the hackathon, students. How do we really bring this from all elements for AI and those communities coming together to solve the issues and really push innovation in the industry?
So we did a lot of interviews of attendees here today, and we asked them, so hey, what'd you think of the conference? And virtually every person, without exception, these are people we just grabbed off the hallway, every person said, this has been amazing, the sessions have been really strong. I mean, every single person said, it's all about the content. What made this content so strong?
I think the team did a great job at talking to the community, understanding what are the issues right now, what do people want to talk about, what do they need to understand, and trying to come at that content from multiple angles. So we're not just talking about ethics from the ministry, from a regulatory aspect, but talking about it from an implementer's perspective. And what does that mean? How are they dealing with it? And I think that's really how we've tried to approach the content this year, is not one view, right? Multiple views for one story.
So how do you replicate this? I mean, this is unique by any standard.
I mean, we are very lucky with the venue here with Tobacco Dock. It's a great venue. We've been able to create a different experience because of that. But I think, as you said, it really comes a lot from the conversations, the content, and the folks at the show themselves, and who's here to discuss. And I think it's really focusing on those issues again, and let's get the content right. Let's make sure we're telling people and involving them in the conversations they want to be involved in. Ultimately, that's what brings people back to the physical event, right? So I think that's a big part of it.
So we had a lot of conversation with members of what's called Visionaires here, and Visionaires, as you know, is it was your baby basically, and they're all the AI thought leaders, and they all, with the exception, they all are like, yeah, we need to do more of this basically collaboration as a community because it's a Visionaires community. Can you talk about Visionaires and the whole theory and philosophy behind that?
Yes, it started in 2019, and the team was working on the events and working in AI and talking to a number of leaders in the industry, asking them what are their challenges, what are they really facing. And the theme that really came out was learnings. That's what they were missing. Attending an event once a year is fine, but the AI industry moves faster than that, as we all know. There's so much happening in AI. How do we understand? How do we keep pace with what's happening in the market? And so it was this idea of an event is not enough. And we need to learn from each other. So we need to learn from other folks implementing AI in their businesses and be able to then take those learnings into our business, into our industry. So automotive, learning from retail, from energy, right? Let's share those learnings across industries. And that's really where it came from, is how do we make it this 365-day-a-year community that can come together and share their best practices with each other.
So where do you go from here? We've got events coming up for the rest of the year. Can you talk about that?
Yes, we do. Well, every day we can see you and your team covering AI on AI Business, which I think is fantastic. There's so much going on. There's so many roundtables that you run every single month. So the conversation doesn't stop tomorrow. It's still ongoing, actually, through AI Business. And then we also have, moving forward, physical event in Austin in November.
Your hometown.
My hometown. I'm very excited to bring everybody and host everybody in Austin, Texas. And then in December in New York.
Wow. So how do you just keep getting bigger? I mean, every show seems, that I've been here, every show seems to get bigger than the last one.
Yes, it does. I mean, we want to keep growing. There's the AI ecosystem, as you said, keeps growing. So bringing them into the conversation. And then that's our goal, is really convening communities, bringing everybody together to solve these problems that we're facing.
So a year from now, we're sitting here, I hope here. We're talking about what?
I hope we're talking about the beautiful weather again that we've experienced.
Yeah, everyone complains about the London weather. I don't get it.
No, it's been beautiful. So hot as well. But I think we will still be talking about collaboration, but in another way. I think we will. A year ago, we were talking about collaboration across the technology landscape, and now we're talking about that involving governments and universities, and I think it will expand beyond that in a year from now.
Well, I look forward to that conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
This is Chuck Martin at the AI Summit, London.